Kyle,
Troy's over there.
I'm hiding out in the
Yep.
corner. Kyle's here to talk all about his massive collection of gold medals. Not anybody can just get these things.
Now,
You have to win them.
when you're the only one competing in your division, it's kind of easy.
You had to finish,
I
though.
had to finish.
That's
Yep,
right,
yep,
even if you
yep,
were the only one.
yep. There's three of them, but
So tell us all about this. You got to start from the beginning because
yep,
these people know
yep,
nothing.
yep. Well, just competed in the 39th annual National Veterans Golden Age Games, and it's for any veteran over the age of 55. I do believe you have to be registered at a VA to get medical care or get to care at a VA, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out there. This one was in Memphis. It's almost a week-long competition. It is absolutely amazing. Um, they have limited a number of wheelchair divisions for someone like myself, but they have archery, they have 3-on-3 basketball, they have free throw shooting for basketball, pickleball, shuffleboard, bocce ball, air rifle, air pistol, swimming, field events, uh, so like putting the shot, throwing the javelin, the discus, and also track events, including some walking events. And there's probably even more than that. Their theme is fitness for life, and it's pretty intense. I because I had done a triathlon training camp prior to going to the Golden Age Games, I was only able to compete in swimming events, um, which was an eye opener. I thought I had trained properly, but the hectic pace of the swimming, they do all the events back to back to back. And because there are so few adaptive athletes or wheelchair athletes, we're in the pool swimming against the able-bodieds. But we're in our own lane, and it turns out that, our times are just against other folks in our age group as well as our um, disability state, disability division, whatever it is. I was fortunate enough to win gold in my three events, 25 free, 50 free, and the 75 IM. But the pace was so hectic, you know, I, I was able to do the stroke properly, but everything else went right out the window. It was so hectic. Um, I bought a pair of the tight jammers, the swimsuit that's kind of like,
Nobody
yep.
needs to know about your tight
No,
jammer.
well, it's like the thing now to swim in. It's almost like bicycle shorts. They're tight, and of course I had those. But for warm up, I had my swimsuit over it, and I had my swim cap, thinking, I'll look all official, right? Stuck in the pocket of my swimsuit. So when the first event comes, I just jump in the water and swim. So the swim cap's in the pocket, swimsuit's on. I get to the end of the 25. And I hop out of the water and I go, where's my swim cap? Where'd I leave it? I don't know. Not like it was going to make me any faster. But then I realized really don't need the swimsuit. So I'm back in the locker room and drop that. And because it's the 25 and you go from one side of the pool to the other, somebody had to we needed a volunteer to carry my crutches around and all my gear, which it was a young man, probably no more than about 10 or 12 from the city of Memphis that was volunteering, so he was a big help. Um, had a little bit of a time between the two events, my 25 free and then the 75 IM was second. And somehow I got corralled by a videographer, photographer from the national level of the VA. And it's an organization called Sports for Vets. I think I have that right. Sports number 4 vets. And she wanted to do a little interview of me swimming. And she actually had a GoPro that she put down at the bottom of the pool and filmed me kind of swimming across it, and a little bit interview about what I thought of the Golden Age Games. So that's on the Battle Creek VA website. It's on our Adaptive Athlete TV YouTube channel. But it's kind of interesting. And it's not just me. There are other athletes that they've interviewed, other veterans, still shots, as well as videos. If you want to see some veterans having a blast, go check these out. Of course, the veterans that are doing the land-based, in this cool, nice little bib,
Look
you
at
know,
that, got
yeah,
your name on it
you
and
know,
everything. No joking around
and
here.
and of course, we're in Memphis, very sunny, very humid, a little too humid for me. And the Veterans Canteen Services, VCS, was a big sponsor of this. So they gave out, we got t-shirts, we got this cool hat, got a little fanny pack, which is very sturdy, and I use this all the time to carry my gear in. Next year is the 40th down in Tampa, and I plan on going. Um, each VA or each region will bring their own team. Like here in Battle Creek, there was a team of about 12 of us that went down, and the vast majority of them rode down together in a Battle Creek VA shuttle bus. And they took all their gear. A couple of rec therapists were our coaches, and they were absolutely amazing. Young ladies by the name of Alex and Randy, and I got to give a shout out to them because they were going from competition to competition to competition, supporting the Battle Creek veterans. A lot of the competitions were actually at a convention center, like the air rifle and air pistol, shuffleboard, 9-ball, and pool. We're all in this convention center. You're thinking they're actually shooting inside.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was maybe a 15-yard shot at a small target, and it's kind of an air pistol, so they shoot just a little projectile down
I'd
there.
hit it with air.
Yeah,
You couldn't really track it.
and there are some very elite shooters.
Oh,
These
sure.
guys were,
They're amazing.
20 or 25 shots nailing the bullseye, the 10 ring almost every time. Um, and if you're a veteran or know a veteran, does not have to have a disability, over the age of 55 or up, you should really take a look at this. Um, some good food. You get a meal ticket, and you can get food at the convention center, out at some of the other event places. I was fortunate enough to swim at the University of Memphis, previously known as Memphis State, and it was very close to where my Airbnb was. Beautiful pool, but it's a pretty cool campus. You would think that, like in Tampa, it's going to be affiliated with the Air Force Base down there. No, it'll be right in Tampa next year. And um, the only negatives I would have is that, like the swimming, you don't know the timing of the events until you get there and check in. Then I realized that, okay, I got a little time between the 25 free and the 75 IM, but then my 75 IM and 50 free were almost back to back. So I get out of the pool with the 75, and I have just a few minutes before I get back in the pool
Ooh,
for the 50.
tough.
And yeah, well, it would be nice to know, when you register, how close they are. So maybe next year I wouldn't do the 50 or something because I was exhausted. That beat me up. But lessons learned for next year. If they are back to back, I will. And the funny thing is, well, as I'm swimming my second event, the 75, I look down in the pool in my lane. I was in the exact same lane. Yep, there's a swim cap.
Oh,
I'm
oh, the
thinking,
cap came out.
yeah, it came out of the
You
pocket. So
had
yeah, it's like,
it.
okay, there it is. And of course, I'm thinking I don't really need it, but it was my swim cap from the triathlon training camp, and they were running the event so much back to back. There wasn't enough time for me to get in there. But in between a couple events, one of the lifeguards, one of the high school kids that was a lifeguard, dove in and grabbed it. So, but it was funny that I lost.
Save the cap.
Save the cap, save the
Should get
day,
you a
save the
hat that
cap.
says that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could write it right on the swim cap,
Oh, no.
but didn't even use the swim cap. But, I
And you
imagine,
still won the gold.
yep,
Just think
yeah,
if you'd have had the swim cap on.
I could have won the
Where you
gold,
could
silver,
go.
and bronze.
Now, did they, I gotta ask this, and this is, it's because it's been in my head since the beginning when you said it. Did they continuously have to say to you, Kyle, stay in your own lane?
Nope, because they have the lane markers there, so I'm good,
You
and
said
of
that
course,
you had your own
yep,
lane.
yeah, but it turns out that I was in lane 8 every time,
It was your
yeah,
lane.
so it was like my lane for those events. So I knew exactly where I was going. But the numbers I heard, there were about 1,100 veterans competing. They had well over 1,200 volunteers.
That's awesome.
Even for the swimming, they would have, you got the folks calling, swimmers in the pool, swimmers take your mark, and then the little gun, and there wasn't any, that was pretty hectic too. It's like, swimmers, take your mark, go. Give me a second, will you? So they had all the folks taking the times. You had volunteers calling which event was. And I've gone to swimming events for friends, in high school. Being involved was like, oh my God, I had no idea what I was in for. But they line you up in the waiting area over on folding chairs. So, um, for the 25 free, there might be 6 different heats. So one's getting in the pool, and then they have rows of chairs. So, if I would be back here 4-3, and then you would move up, move up, move up. And she was a retired phys ed teacher. You could hear her voice all over the entire pool, which is a big, beautiful pool. It was like, yes, ma'am. And she would call in the events, and she'd move you up, and then you would go over. It was like she ran her part smoothly, but the rest of it. And I had signed up to volunteer to check folks in at the field events, but because of my travel time, I wasn't able to get down in enough time to register. You had to go through a whole registration process, where you got all your bling and all your cool stuff. So I had to do that on Tuesday when I thought I would be volunteering to do the field events, because they always need volunteers. So if you know somebody in the Tampa area, veteran or not, the end of June, first couple of days of July 2026, go hang out with some golden age vets and
Hey, and I
volunteer.
think about this with things like that. If you want to travel, like if you want to go on
Yeah.
vacation, right? And you can tie it in with something like that.
Yeah.
How fun is that? You
Yeah.
spend a few days, I mean, you commit
Yeah.
not your whole
Yeah.
vacation, but you
Yeah.
spend a couple of days doing that,
Yeah.
and then you go off and do
Yeah.
local whatever.
Yeah.
And I would be fascinated.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be there.
And the registration for volunteering for the Golden Age Games is separate from registering as an athlete. And you can register for certain blocks. Like I had registered for like a 3-hour block to check in athletes for the field events, because that was a drop in. They would just drop in and do their event, and somebody would be there to record it. So you could do a couple of days worth. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. But if
Make
you
it part of your vacation.
and now the next big one for me coming up next month is the National Veterans Wheelchair Games, which is definitely for the adaptive athlete. And I can only imagine the number of volunteers they're going to need in Minneapolis for that, because obviously you're going to have volunteers that could help folks in wheelchairs get around.
That's in July.
Yep, middle of July.
All right.
Yeah. So, and that'll all be running the U-Haul, driving up, taking the dogs, staying in an Airbnb, and
Sure.
just again, the fact that the VA does these things still amazes me. I mean, even while I was in rehab at the VA after I had lost my leg, I had heard about the Golden Age Games, but it's through the process of working out there, going out there for my medical needs, going up to the Ann Arbor VA for my physical medicine rehab. And my physical medicine rehab doc is actually on the medical staff for both the Golden Age Games and the wheelchair games. So she's a big promoter of it. So she kind of hears what I'm doing with the team sports. She goes, "Have you thought about this?" And it's become another addiction. Yeah, the Golden Age game is fun because, as an adaptive athlete, I'm kind of in my own, I don't want to say I'm in my own class, but I guess I am. I'm in my own division.
Let's just say you're at the top of the class.
Yeah, I'm also at the bottom of the
Yeah, that's
class.
true.
But the wheelchair games will be a whole nother video. I am big shout out to the city of Memphis. Other than humidity, it's an absolute beautiful city. A lot of great folks helping out. Did drive up to the Memphis Zoo, didn't have time to get in, but I understand it's a beautiful zoo, so if you're in the area. But they still have an electric trolley system running down the road. My understanding is they don't use it daily anymore, but they still have everything for it, and I guess they do it for special events. I would think for the Golden Age games, they should have run it.
Seems special to me.
Beale Street is amazing. I didn't stop into any of the bars or anything, but Beale Street is
Sure you
beautiful.
did,
Nope.
Kyle.
No,
Sure
no,
did.
hopping around on crutches is hard enough. I didn't want to have to do it, hopping around and inebriated. But if you're in the Memphis area, go check it out. give a shout out to all the volunteers because there's absolutely no way these Golden Age games could have been put on without all those volunteers. If you are a veteran, whether disabled or not, consider it. Check it out online. I guarantee you could probably find a sport that you would want to compete in.
Sure.
I would mention it to you before we start doing the video that in the awards for the swimming events, there was another gentleman that competed in about three or four different events, and he won a gold medal in them all. And it was simply because he was in the 90 plus age group. The guy was just absolutely fascinating. So, fitness for life. And they also talk about fitness for everyone, but fitness for life. Here's a gentleman in his 90s,
Wow.
still getting around great, didn't use a walker or anything, and still swimming 50 yards, 50 meters, whatever, and competing. And
That's
it's like, okay, that's an inspiration to me. It's like, okay, I got a few more years to swim then,
A few more years.
a few more
So,
decades.
yeah, like that's a long time.
And
You're just a young child, Kyle.
compared to these kids, compared to these guys, it is. There was it was probably 60 to 70% gentlemen, but there were an awful lot of young ladies there too, competing veterans, which is great. But you're also thinking, how many female veterans are over the age of 55? Because it wasn't that long ago where they started allowing women into the military. And here they are competing in the same events with the men. Of course, they're competing against other women. But, and there were some female swimmers that they were very good, very, very elite. So you could tell they'd been swimming for a while. So, but it just another challenge that I wanted to try out. And now it's like, okay, let's continue it. But
So did we get through all of these things that you
yep,
got?
got the hat, got the shirt, and oh well, I did forget two other nice little things that they
'Cause I
give
know
you.
you got all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, well, a couple more t-shirts at home too. And of course I did have to buy a University of Memphis t-shirt because I've always liked the
Yeah, for
Tigers.
sure.
But more bling, they give you as a veteran, you would know what
Oh,
the
yeah.
challenge coin is. So you get this little challenge coin. A lot of veterans will understand what that is.
Absolutely.
And then of course you've got to get, the Velcro
Oh,
patch
yeah.
to put someplace, and that could even go right on there. But amazing people down there, amazing time, both the competitors and the veterans, the staff that's running it. Had a blast. I talk about that on the little clip video, how much fun I'm having, even though I was only doing swimming 3 events. Just me, really getting to know the fellow veterans from not just from my area, not just from Battle Creek, but veterans from all over the United States. It is a good time. And if you're a veteran or no veteran and you're considering competing, this is a really, really good competition. So it's a lot of fun. Plus you
Sure.
get lots of toys.
Plus you get a lot of stuff, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
If they let the type 1 diabetics in, I'd have to join the military just to get all the bling. But they won't let me in.
No,
No.
they might make an exception for you. You could be,
For me, I'll bet
well,
your name.
well, look at where I'm at with your training. I win my division and the triathlon, the injured veteran. I win 3 gold medals as a swimmer, a one-legged amputee swimmer. And of course, I don't get to use the little flipper when I'm swimming here, which made it tougher because I got to swim like a normal person, kind of, which is a challenge. But I'll tell you what, that 50-meter freestyle, the last one, the last 25 meters, it's like, I'm glad I'm only competing against myself. It was a struggle, but something to learn for next year. But now you can add to your repertoire that you are a
That's
trainer
true.
to a veteran Golden Age game, triple gold medal winner. Because I couldn't have done it without
Like
a
a
lot of
triple
training.
crown.
Yeah, but those horses have
We can
4
make a
legs.
crown out of your gold medals.
I got the hat.
Put it on the hat.
Nah, no. These got to figure out where I'm going to hang these.
That's right, you do, for sure. You could have them on a touring schedule. they go to different places. We'll keep them down here for a while.
That's what the video is for. The video can tour the entire world.
That's true. So thinking back to your time at this event, is there anything that you think like the number one takeaway from it for you that we could tell these guys?
Whatever you expect it to be, it's not going to be the same if it's your first time. No matter what event you're doing, it's not going to be what you think it is.
Ooh, that's intriguing.
Yeah,
That makes,
yeah. I mean, you have to go to experience it. I never imagined the hectic pace of the swimming.
Okay.
All of my training about, my starts, my turns, everything went right out the window.
So the takeaway is if it's your first time, it's not going to be what you expect.
Definitely not. Well, first of all, in a positive way. The events will be like, oh my God, what just happened?
Yeah.
But the positivity of your fellow veterans, the comradeship of your fellow veterans, all the staff that are helping out. It's definitely a positive event.
And that says a lot to the organizers about the organizers that you have like a 1-to-1 staff to participant ratio.
Yeah.
That's an unbelievable number.
Yeah.
If you'd have said that you had 300 volunteers, I would have thought, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But
1,000? Yeah. Yeah, and the volunteers outnumber. And that's counting medical staff because they got physical therapists, rec therapists from all over. And like our team, 12 athletes with 2 rec therapists. So, which I guess you could say they volunteer their time because they're driving the bus down and, going to all the events, supporting the athletes, taking pictures of everything. Amazing people. But the city of Memphis, very impressive what they did. And I'm sure Tampa. And last year, I think it was in Salt Lake City. And I heard really good things about that. So it bounces around every year. Okay. And I'm starting to see the trend that kind of flip. Kind of East Coast, east side of the country one time and then the west side. Okay. So that's why I was expecting this one to be a little further, next year's to be a little further east. I was thinking maybe like Boston or Baltimore, but
south.
Tampa's definitely east, and the south too. So, but it's a little later in the year. So this one next year will be the end of June, first part of July. And I'm thinking, the humidity in Memphis was one thing. The humidity in Tampa in June and July. Oh boy. But, you got the bay right there. So, maybe they'll do some open water swimming this year or next year. So I won't have to be in the pool. I can actually go do open water in Tampa Bay.
You could wrestle sharks.
Oh, no. The sharks swim too fast. No. And I don't want to be shark bait.
No, we don't want that because who would be on screen?
I've only got one leg left. I can't be giving that one up. I need that one. So, but.
Well, think about this though. You could be swimming along, goes for the bite, misses because you only had the one leg and it was over here.
They may have small brains, but I think sharks are smarter than that.
Smarter than that, they wouldn't miss.
No.
All right, well, we're gonna keep you out of the shark bait waters.
No.
And we will come back.
Although another thing about Memphis, the pyramid that used to be a basketball court is now a Bass Pro Shop, and it's huge. Oh my God, it's huge. And they have the little troughs and everything the fish are swimming through, and they actually have one that is plexiglassed off. And I was thinking as I'm walking up, oh, that must be where the sharks are. Nope, that's where the alligators are. So the Bass Pro Shop in Memphis and the big pyramid right off the highway there were 4 alligators, all about 6 foot. And so, no, I did not get in there to wrestle the alligators.
We're on to wrestling alligators now.
No, I'll leave that to the folks that go to the Gator Ranch here, the Gator Farm here in Battle Creek when they wrangle them and move them in for the winter. These guys, no, because I may be a pirate, but I don't want to be the pirate from Peter Pan that, Captain Hook that lost everything to the gator. No.
All right. Well, go ahead.
It was a blast. I'm glad I did it. Next year, be looking at swimming and maybe try seeing if I can do some wheelchair pickleball and have them allow me to play with able-bodied pickleball.
Now, this is the thing I don't think people know this. you keep getting organizations to allow you to do certain things to make it doable for you.
Who's gonna
Which-
say no to me? I'm an amputee.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that you're taking that step.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
you weren't gonna be able to do this, whatever. I mean, there's been multiple things. And you went to the organization and said, hey, it makes sense if you just do
Yeah.
this, and they adapted.
Well, it'll be more adapting for next year because you have to sway them and prove to them
For
that
sure.
there are enough golden age veterans that would want to compete in the golden age games and a racing wheelchair. Or I was trying to let them allow me to wear my prosthesis and do field events as a competitor, as an able-bodied. And they said, because I had signed up under the wheelchair, I couldn't do both.
Sure.
But I'm going to keep working on them and
But my
Top down,
point on that
yeah.
is that that's natural to you. That's just what you do.
yeah,
But a lot of people out there
Well,
would
yeah.
never, they just go, oh, you know what? We're
Yeah.
not allowed to do that.
yeah,
They wouldn't push on.
yeah.
But you just go ask, and all they can do is
Yeah.
say no. And if they say no, you work through
Well,
it.
you try, it may not happen, it may, but well, even the triathlon. I said, I've been training with the little flipper, this rec therapy flipper. I'd like to use it. And they said, sure.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
somebody else would be
Yeah.
hesitant to even ask. And that's my point.
Yeah,
To
definitely.
the
Yeah,
viewers,
yeah.
my point is, don't let yourself be held back.
Yep.
Because they might say no the first time, and then they think it over and go, well, that
Yeah.
doesn't make, why wouldn't we let them do that?
Exactly.
Whatever it is.
Well, what's the name of our channel? Adaptive Athlete TV.
For sure.
You have to be adaptive,
We
both in
are.
how you compete,
That's
but
right.
also how you sell yourself.
That's it.
So,
So,
yeah, Adaptive Athlete TV.
a
That's
good
why we
tip.
do
I
it.
feel like that's a great
Yeah.
tip for
Yeah.
the end.
Well, and it's also, fitness
Don't
for life.
turn back.
Yeah, definitely don't turn back. Try it. And, if you're a veteran, leave us some comments, ask questions, talk to your local VA, but leave comments for us, like the videos if you like them, share them, please,
Like the video if you don't like it.
definitely like the
We'll
video. if you
take
don't.
your like too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Send all your
yeah.
friends and enemies.
Definitely share it because we're doing this so other veterans, other folks with a quote unquote disability or, learn about these things. And as Troy was saying, if you don't think you can do it, you've already lost. Give it a shot,
True.
All
right. Good.
so, and
good
most
tip.
important, what's the most, have fun.
The
when you do
most
this.
important
One of the
thing is
most
to
important things is
subscribe.
subscribe because subscribing is
Free.
and you get free stuff when you complete and compete. So,
We might even give free stuff away at some point. You never know.
we should.
Yeah, there you go.
Adaptive Athlete TV. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for letting me share my story. Let us know how we're doing.
We'll give them good tips if they subscribe. Every day, we'll give them a tip.
I've got a trainer that you can always ask how to train for certain
You
sports.
just can't see him. He's off screen today.
40 years of training everybody. Athletes and
Yeah.
able-bodied people.
All right.
Kid smart. So,
Hey,
Yeah.
have a good day. Come back
Thanks,
and
folks.
see us next time.
yeah, we'll be doing this again.